Cool.
I'm Michael Knowles, here to tell you that Rules for Retrogrades, the book and the show, are out now, and you absolutely need to check it out before the thought police confiscate all of it and lock you away.
Welcome to Rules for Retrogrades, a solo episode. I'm pleased to bring you today former world heavyweight champion James Bonecrusher Smith joining me. I'm really honored, really excited to do this interview. It's a big deal. So Bonecrusher Smith made his pro debut at 28 after college and a stint of amateur boxing while serving in the U.S. Army. 28. He lost his first pro fight but won the next 14 bouts, culminating with a spectacular 10th round knockout against then undefeated British fighter Frank Bruno with his intimidating 21-0 record, all by KOs, before a huge crowd in Wembley Stadium in London. He battled a parade of 10 boxing champs, including Larry Holmes, Tony Tubbs, Tim Witherspoon, where you got the title, Ricky Parkey, Mike Weaver, Mike Tyson, USBA title holder David Bay, Greg Page, Michael Moore, Brian Nielsen, and Euro champion Joe Bugner. His win against heavyweight champion Tim Witherspoon in round one, it's a phenomenal round one knockout. If you people haven't seen it, go watch it. Featured 3 knockdowns in the first round against Witherspoon and one bone crusher, the coveted WBA heavyweight title on December 12, 1986 in Madison Square Garden. That is the big stage. And it's not quite as large a stage, but we welcome you today, well, all the same, Bonecrusher, to Rules for Retrogrades. How are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm excellent, man. We talked last week, and I was excited to get you on the video show. And the first thing that strikes me when I look at your remarkable career, first pro fight at 28, you'd had amateur fights before that, is the courage of your career. I mean, you start late for heavyweight boxing in the pro circuit. You fight 10 of the most fearsome champions of the middle and late 80s and early 90s. And one of them is Mike Tyson, and you take the title from Tim Witherspoon, who beat you before. He'd beaten you in what was it? It went to the judges when you fought Tim Witherspoon before, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so just the courage of your career. What I'm trying to impart today to Christians, Catholics out there is, sports have value, because too many Christians are quick to just say, oh, that stuff, those are games, those don't matter. We're talking about evangelizing, bringing the gospel. You're also a Protestant reverend minister, and you do both. So I'd like to say the striking thing with your career is the courage of beating someone that had beaten you before, getting back up and beating him with I think you just had a short amount of time to fighting Tyson, fighting all these tough guys. Can you say something about the courage of boxing? Most people think it's mythic how much courage it requires just to step in the ring.
His spirit and his faith. I had gotten a call from promoter Don King, and he gave me 7 days notice to fight a guy that had beat me the year before, and I had to make a decision. And I made that decision on a 7-day notice to fight, and agreed to fight a guy that had beat me the year before. And I knocked him down 3 times in the first round. 1 for the Father, 1 for the Son, and 1 for the Holy Ghost.
Amen. Amen. I love that. I might use that as a soundbite for the show going forward. It's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
So would you pray before fights, or how do you do that? Tim Witherspoon's a big dude, a heavy hitter.
Every situation that I'm in, I pray, and I ask my opponent to fight just hard enough to lose.
To make it a good fight, and then to kiss the pavement. Right. So Tim Witherspoon, people should go watch this. It's not going to take a lot of time in your day, viewers out there, Retrograde retrograde people and the retrograde nation, because it's such a quick fight. I mean, this is a guy that had taken you all the way, went the whole distance with you and won on the cards, right? And then he didn't knock you out before, right? Witherspoon?
No.
No. But
12 round decision.
Right, won by decision. But I mean, then you get back in the ring with 7 days notice. It's a Don King tactic, right? You have a week to train. You get in there and you do this. What is it but the Holy Ghost to give you a victory against a dude like Witherspoon?
And I use that in my ministry. God created the world in 6 days, but on the seventh day he rested. And on the seventh day, if I hit Witherspoon right, he can rest. I can put him to sleep. He can rest. And I can tell this story for the rest of my life. And that's basically what I've done. And that's what I do. And it's biblical. When I did that, I became the first college graduate to become heavyweight champion of the world. I became the first heavyweight champion to win the title at Madison Square Garden. And became the first, not Witherspoon out in the first round. So it was a lot of firsts that night.
I know. People go watch this fight. Just put in Bonecrusher Smith, Tim Witherspoon. Man, you really clocked him. So what you told me last week is, you actually told my brother Dave, who's not here on today's interview, but you really came out with the strong right, because this guy had beaten you before, and just right out of the gate, round one, he's a slow starter, isn't he? And is that your strategy? You just were like, I gotta kill this guy in the first round. If I don't get him, I'm dead. Was that it?
Punch was in the left ear, and my goal was to drive his left ear into his right ear with my right hand. And I knew if it didn't get all the way over there, he'd be like Elvis Presley. He would be all shook up. Yeah. Well,
you did it. I mean, look at how he's out on his feet after I think the second knockdown, and it didn't take much. Just took a stiff wind at that point. But man, what a big dude. What an exciting thing. You mentioned this catchphrase that with you is more than a catchphrase. Make a decision, M.A.D. You have a book called Make a Decision. Encourage people to check that out. Could you tell us about your book, Make a Decision?
Well, M.A.D, make a decision. And I believe that everybody in life should make it some kind of decision. And if you make the right decision, you can tell the story for the rest of your life. I don't know if you can see this book or not, but this is my book.
Great.
See it? That's me on the cover of it. And my fiance brought it over to me. Thank you, Doreen. So it talks about how I started out in Magnolia, North Carolina, a little small town, about 1,000 people. And I document different situations. I didn't want to go to school. It's ironic that I became the first college graduate to become heavyweight champion of the world, because when I was small and 6 years old, I did not want to go to school. But nobody told my mom and daddy, so they had me dropped off my first grade teacher's class crying, kicking and screaming, telling my teacher, I don't like you, I don't want to be here, and I'm going home to my mom and daddy. So I started running from her. And if I'd known I'd have to have, later in my life, I'd have to have 3 knee replacements, I'd have walked from them times I ran. Once my teacher taught me, she started beating with a fan belt. You know what a fan belt is? It makes a car run. It made me run too. I got mad. She sent a note by me to my mama, and the rule was if I got a whipping at school, I was going to get at least one more when I got home. Mama looked at me, Odell, which is my real middle name, go get me a switch. And I was smart even back then, Tim. I got the smallest switch I could find. Mama broke that switch. She looked at me and said, I said, go get me a switch. So Tim, I had to go back in the woods and get a bigger switch. Now turn around, Odell. As she hit me with that switch, she was pronouncing words. Didn't I tell you if you got any whooping at school, I was going to whoop you too? I got mad with my mama. Daddy came home. Daddy whooped me his belt. I got mad with Daddy. So at age 6, I made 2 decisions. 1, I was going to school. And 2, if I ever got grown, I was going to whoop some people. But the matter has never been with December 1986. And y'all already know the story. You heard me say it before, but I'm going to tell you again. I was suing the great promoter Don King because he had promised me a world title fight. and he didn't give it. So I got me another promoter. He sued me, and I started suing him. So he called me up December 1986. Bonecrusher, this is Donald King. I pretend I didn't hear him. I said, who? He said, this is Don King. I said, hey, Don, how you doing, brother? He said, Bone, I want to give you that title fight, and I'm going to give you some money, too. I said, well, Don, that's awesome. I said, Don, who is the fight with? When is it? And where is it going to be? He said, well, I got some bad news, Bone. I said, what's that, Don? He said, the fight is going to be against the guy that beat you last year, Tim Witherspoon. I said, oh. And my mind immediately went back decades, and I remember those whippings I got from my teacher, my mama, my daddy, and the year before, Witherspoon. I said, Don, when is this fight, and where is it going to be? He said, Bone, the fight is going to be on HBO television. You got a chance to redeem yourself on HBO. Show the world, Bone, who you are on HBO. I said, Don, when is this fight, and where is it going to be? He said, Bone, the fight is going to be at Madison Square Garden, New York, and it's going to be next week. That's the rest of the story, Tim.
Well, it's all good news aside from the last part, next week. Yeah, man, that's unheard of. That's unheard of.
Tim, for all the believers out there and all the non-believers out there, see, we don't know exactly when God's going to call us home.
That's right.
We just want to be ready. We want to be saved up, prayed up, saved up, and ready to go up. See? And if we're not, we're going down. We're going in the wrong place. And we don't want to spend eternity in the wrong place, Tim. So we want to be Tim. So that's the story for everybody today, Tim.
Oh, it's beautiful. And by the way, Bone, don't hold it against me that I share the same first name as the guy. Well, you can't because you beat him. You got the last laugh, right? You took the WBA belt off of him.
Tim.
Yeah.
It's all good.
It's all good. So, I mean, can you say a word about Christianity in sports today? In pro sports, I mean, not Little League or whatever. They've gone like this. You see my hands? They've parted ways. I think ESPN has a little something to do with that. Sports Illustrated, there seems to be an agenda. Christians in sports are not, anybody can thank their God after a game or a match or a bout or whatever, except a Christian. They'll get filtered off. They'll get censored off. You've become a minister, right? A reverend, and so now you get to say what you want. Was there ever any censorship when you were, because you've been a Christian all your life, when you were at the top of your game, WBA champ, belt holder, were you ever censored? Were you able to say what you wanted to say if you wanted to use that big stage, Madison Square Garden, as a world stage? Or am I talking nonsense?
Yeah, I use the big stage. I'm still using the big stage now. I have an internet business, and we're going to talk about that in a few. But we reach out to people. We into social media. We reach out to people all over the world now.
Sure. Yeah. Do you follow pro sports now?
Yes.
You follow boxing? What's
yes.
going on? Yeah.
I wish I was about 30 years younger. But you know what? Mike Tyson said he's going to fight again.
I know he is. He's trying to. He's contacting all the guys that beat him, and he's going around and he's, looking pretty good. But it's still not a good idea, is it? Is it a good idea for a guy that's almost 60 to get back into the ring?
Get hurt.
53,
and Evander Holyfield is older than he is, and he's talking about doing it too.
Yeah. Tyson's 53, Evander's 59 or 60. Yeah, it's crazy. Guys
with a big name like that to get, and it's not like they haven't made a lot of money. Evander's made a couple $100 million, and Tyson's made $500 million.
So nothing would do that for you? No amount of money in the world, or what? What would it take to see Bonecrusher Smith?
And I like being able to talk, and other people being able to understand what I'm saying.
Right. It's kind of important. I know. I mean, you don't want to see these guys wind up in the nursing home or the morgue.
When they speak, nobody understands what they're saying. I mean, Tyson almost like that already, but.
Can you tell? I wouldn't say that to him, but
I can talk Mike into calling me.
He can get away with it. What can you tell us about your fight with Tyson? I mean, come on, we're being honest. One thing I know about you, you're an honest dude. What? Were
Yeah,
you
well,
scared to get in the ring with the dude?
at that point, Mike was undefeated. He had just knocked out Trevor Burbick in the second round.
Second round.
To win the WBC title. And I had knocked out Witherspoon in the first round to win the WBA title. So HBO they had a tournament going on. So I was part of that tournament, and the media at that point had Tyson built up like an Iron Man. They used Iron Mike Tyson. And the billboards, when I got to Las Vegas, got off the airplane, there was a big billboard out there, and right at the airport, and Tyson had towered over me. Really, in reality, I tower over him. I'm 6'4", and he was 5'10", 5'11", but it was how they promoted him as being invincible, and a lot of people don't really remember that part. They just looked, but the media had people that he was fighting psyched out, and I guess I was part of that little psyche too.
Right. How? Let's see. You fought him in
87.
So a year and a half before Buster Douglas got him.
Buster fought him in 90.
He fought him in 90. Oh, I thought he fought him in 89. Okay, so yeah, a little more. I mean, Buster Douglas kind of arguably you figured out the formula for Mike Tyson, I think. Don't you have a case to saying, hey, I didn't execute it perfectly, but I kind of figured out Mike Tyson and no one could before me.
Beat him how to beat it.
Yeah.
Time up a little bit, time up, and then come back. Buster had a good jab. He worked the jab, kept him at bay. That's probably the best fight. And I think the guys like Evander and those guys, I mean, they used a good strategy. And really it was later on in Mike's life. He had gone to jail, been off out of the business for 3 years. And, they caught him basically at the right time.
Right.
Not a 21-year-old Mike Tyson.
Yeah. No way, Kid Dynamite. That's right. But I mean, he was still at the peak of his career when you fought him, and when Buster fought him. I mean, like you said, Buster's using that stiff jab. He was really sitting on his jab right away. He was a fast starter, like you against Tim Witherspoon, except Buster was really laying on that jab. Tie him up, keep him either outside or inside. Don't let him get to that deadly combo range, and yeah, it really worked. What's the stiffest jab you ever went up against? What's the most frightening jab you ever fought against?
Larry Holmes.
That's what I would have guessed. Yeah. Well, that thing felt like a overhand right or what?
Yeah, I think he was really. He might have been southpaw and just fought right-handed, but he had a real strong, stiff jab. He has knocked people down with that jab.
I know. Yeah, it's unheard of. Who else has ever knocked people down with that? Besides a trip or something like that with a jab alone. I knew you were going to say Larry Holmes. Man, so so you're sitting there. Just take us through what it requires to go up against a Larry Holmes or a Mike Tyson trained killer. I know you're 6'4", you're a bad dude yourself, but like you said, man, you're a little different. I've talked to other pro fighters. You're a little different. You could preach the gospel. Yeah, so just take us through the mind frame a little bit, if you'll indulge me. I mean, because I like boxing. I'm a fan. I work the speed bag and the heavy bag out there, and I like to go a round or two with my friends. But we have no clue, man. I mean, you are different from other heavyweights I've talked to. I've talked to a few. You were making jokes about it before. You can get up there and preach the gospel. You can make a joke. When you speak, other people understand. That means your thought processes are cogent. Some of these other fighters are like, they probably don't know the same level of fear that a cogent fighter does, because I'm not, they might be punchy. The word, it's an ugly term, but they might be punchy. With you got it all. You understand what you're walking into when you walk into that, four-sided square of death, the ring, right? Lots of fighters have died in the ring. You played at the top of the game, heavyweight boxing. Everything else is kind of child's play besides heavyweight. So how do you prepare yourself? How do you tame your heart? How do you tame the passions to go in there and take on trained killers in the ring?
What gave me confidence? One of the things that gave me confidence is I trained very hard, and I hired a guy that was 6-time world champion, Emo Griffith. So I believed in what he told me. I said, well, this guy know how to become champion, and he did it 6 times, so I'm going to listen to him. So I was a good student. So that was very important to me, and I think it's very important. A person can't. I see guys nowadays, and they call themselves trainers, but they hadn't done it before. So if you can't teach a person something that you don't know, so you have to somebody has to learn it first, and then before you can teach it.
Amen. You can't give what you don't have. What do you think about, on the cusp of what you said about trainers? Some of them nowadays weren't pros themselves or anywhere, or even have a high boxing IQ. I do think Ben Davidson, Tyson Fury's trainer, who was dropped about 2.5 months before the Deontay Wilder rematch back in the early spring, I think he had know-how. I mean, I think he helped Fury, but I mean, look what happened in the Fury-Wilder rematch. Fury moved to a punching coach, and we all see the results there. So are you talking about guys like Ben Davidson?
Yes. Or like anybody that don't know. I mean, either you know or don't know. Either you're saved or you're not saved. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, you gotta have it before you can give it.
Right.
Who do you like in pro boxing these days? Who's your favorite puncher out there?
I like Joshua.
You're a Joshua guy. Okay. You think he'd have Deontay Wilder's number if they ever go at it?
I think they're pretty evenly matched. I think Wilder could beat him, and I think Joshua could beat him. It depends on their mindset, because I think their physical ability is pretty similar. And then who brings it that night?
I'm not sure if you're a basketball fan, Bonecrusher, but everyone now, because of the lack of sports, COVID-19, all that, the shutdown, everyone's watching this 10-part Michael Jordan documentary series called The Last Dance, and the thing that shines through about a lot of those guys in the 80s and 90s, and you're in this crop of pro athletes, is the mindset was so different then. They were, to me, it's much more admirable. They were killers, right? They were, anything to win, and anything shy of cheating to win. And guys like that, particularly in the NBA, I know basketball better than I know boxing, but I know boxing with some too. I mean, they don't have the killer mindset. You compare Michael Jordan to a LeBron James, and it was all about the crazy competitiveness, right? And just the will to win. I like what's happening in today's heavyweight boxing. I don't like what's happening with the mindset of guys in the NBA. Can you talk some about, in the 80s and 90s, pro sports, it was go big or go home?
I think guys worked harder for less money. I think as time has gone on, it's been more about money than work ethic. Right.
Do you follow the NBA at all? I agree. Yeah, I mean, it's like they create the super teams. When what brought the NBA back is Magic Johnson on the Lakers and Larry Bird on the Celtics, right? That brought the whole league back. You can look what happened to the profit margins of the league after the 70s. The league was failing. They couldn't halfway fill stadiums. But if Magic Johnson and Larry Bird had gotten together after their rookie season and said, let's team up, we'll both go to the Celtics or we'll both go to the Lakers, then the league would have never come back, right? So what you're saying, work ethic, is contravened upon by the idea of creating a super team in team sports. Well, let's just team up. Let's get big paychecks. We'll get an easy ring because we got a starting lineup of the 5 best players in the league. I think there's something to that. What happened? What happened to these guys? Is they getting overpaid and got complacent, or what?
Yeah, but the Lakers now with LeBron and what's his other kid? I mean, he's a superstar
AD,
too.
Anthony Davis. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So if you don't watch, I mean, because the Lakers are worth $4 or $5 billion, so they can afford to get some more guys like that. I mean, it's not anybody really like LeBron James now, but it's close to it, you know. And they have built a powerhouse.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think it's good for. I think it goes with what you're saying that these guys they want it easy, you know, instead of saying we're going to stick it out. The world champion Celtics is going to be Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, you know, Robert Parrish versus Magic Johnson and his guys on the other side. You know, those weren't all superstars. A lot of these teams counted themselves blessed to have one superstar, you know, and then they kind of work around the team at that point. I don't know. I think the whole configuration of pro sports changed, and I think it's for the worse. And honestly, doing what I do, talking to people about, you know, the faith, the one true faith, is it makes it much more difficult because people tend to look at what's going on in pro sports and they say these guys don't have good work ethic. These guys, most of them aren't serious-minded Christians. So why are you talking about sports, which I like to talk about because there are good tie-ins with guys like you that understand it's all connected. You said it earlier. It's all biblical. Bonecrusher, it's been a pleasure talking with you today about Christianity in sports, courage in sports, pro sports, the change between your era and this era. I'd like to, you know, encourage everyone to go get your book, make a decision. I'd also like to give you the chance to talk about what you're doing now. I see you're holding tea there.
Yes. I got a call back in December, and the young lady, I'd known her, and she asked me, had I ever heard of a company named Total Life Changes? I said, no. She was excited, and I could tell in her voice, and she told me that I could drink some tea and lose some weight and make some money, too. I said, well, honey, I need to sign me up. And if anybody, I talked to you the other day about a way that my fans can go and help me with my fundraiser to get an RV, and it's going to be a mobile museum. We're going to travel around the Boxing Legends Hall of Fame mobile museum, and they can go to my website, bonecrusherweightloss.com, and they'll see about Total Life Changes, and anybody that participate, their name is going to go on a wall in the Hall of Fame.
Awesome. So it's Bonecrusher Total Life Change. Oh, we'll put it in the liner notes as we sign out. Okay, Bonecrusher. Yeah, that's excellent. And who would want to hang out with you know, one of their favorite heavyweight champions of all time? So you're going to go around the country in this RV. We recently got into RVing. We love it. I want this to happen for you. I want you to get your RV and to do the mobile museum. And you'll put people's names up, did you say? If they contribute?
Partner with me with the fundraiser for the Hall of Fame. Their name will go on the wall with boxing legends like me and Ernie Shavers and Michael Spinks. They're my business partners. So we're going to have a whole list of people. Joe Frazier's daughter, Joe Frazier, and Muhammad Ali, their name will be mentioned. You know, they're gone, but we're going to have all those guys in there. And as part of the induction ceremony. Awesome.
Well, so everyone go check this out. We'll put it in the liner notes. Bonecrusher, it's been a real honor. I got to, I edited it out by the time people are seeing this, but I got to talk to your lovely fiance, and it's been a real honor interviewing you twice. I did one interview people for Mike Church on the Crusade channel last week, and it's been a pleasure to re-talk to you this week. Thanks for coming on with us, and I wish you all the best luck in the world, and I hope you get your RV, man.
Thank you very much. We're coming to Bakersfield, too.
We're going to have a tea party. We have a big tea party. That sounds awesome. Okay, well, thanks a million, Bone, and God bless you, man.
Thank you. Same to you.